It's the final day here in RA, a last chance for our top 8 teams to make a magical run and take the trophy here in Journey. Welcome to Red Bull Giveaway and welcome to our Counter-Strike 2 tournament journey. We've got plenty more action to come, even on our final day of proceedings. We've got a total of 7 best of 3s for you, not all of which will be shown on stream, thank God for us, but certainly stuff you want to follow in our action. My name is Eternal J, I'm joined by Blake for our mainstream coverage here in Journey. How you doing this morning, man?
Well, keen to kick off what was yesterday with a lot of surprises. There was a lot of teams that performed very well, and I think knowing that we've got so many community streamers doing the other best of 3s, there's going to be a lot to tune in for this opening game of the day.
Most certainly, and we'll be keeping you updated as much as we can over the course of today's stream. However, with only one match to cover on the best of 3s, we want to focus on the big ones. And speaking of big ones, we got some big ones making all of this possible. Of course, Red Bull Giveaway Journey is only plausible thanks to our partners, not only in Red Bull, but also in Red Band 2, ES Play, TCL, El Gigantin, and Republic of Gamers. Shout out to those guys, and shout out to you for coming out in force for this one as well, because it is a very important matchup for everybody involved. Like, I was sort of doing the VRS checks on HLTV to find out how much points many teams have made, and the amount of placings that teams in this tournament have moved up in are quite significant. So time to go for some even more here today.
Well, you know that it's only going to be further. Yes, you may have been able to accumulate a lot in the best of ones, but always remember the bounty, the prize pool of the tournament, and then taking bounty off of each other. We're talking about the strongest teams in the comp now. So the VRS pool and the extension is only going to go further if you can make it to the final or even win the tournament.
Before we get into our playoff positions, let's sort of recap how we've seen things so far. Of course, this is the format for those of you that might have missed it yesterday. 16 round robin groups, 3 of which move up into the next stages. The second and third place teams into the knockout rounds, and those knockout rounds take on the first place teams as well in our quarterfinals, which action will kick off today. Here's how the groups all stacked up. Specboom, Ascend, Eyeballers, and Alliance made their way in of their respective groups with particular confidence on BetBoom and Alliance not dropping a single map on their best of ones. The second and third place teams again moved into those knockout rounds where Metasports, Sashi, AM Gaming, and ENT made their best of 3 victories happen over the likes of Masonic, BC Game, Little Mix, and Johnny Speeds respectively. And that means our quarterfinals will look like this. BetBoom will take on Metasport today, Alliance will take on Sashi, Ascend will take on AM Gaming, and Eyeballers versus ENT will look to round out our quarterfinal proceedings. Dwayne, we're focused on the Nordic Derby in Alliance versus Sashi.
Indeed we are, and it's a matchup that's very familiar in Tier 2. Alliance are a squad that as an organisation have been around since September of 2023, and then you have a look at the Sashi project. It basically went into espionage, and before that into Tricked. It's gone through many different iterations of the team, many few different in-game leaders recently, and even a stand-in AWP to try and help Erdanes out.
Yeah, lots to pick up in that particular matchup. Across the rest of the board, obviously, Ascendra look to make their sort of underdog run continue as they take on AM Gaming. And Eyeballers Ends probably is my second pick for our big main matchup of the quarterfinal proceedings. So make sure you're keeping up to date with all that information. And again, we'll do our best to update you as the day does roll on. But we'll be taking a look at Alliance versus Sashi first. One of our semi-final matches will also appear on stream, and later on tonight at 8 PM CET, the grand finals will take place on stage, and also a nice extended break for whoever makes it into the semi-finals, but a very hectic morning for everybody involved today.
Indeed it is, and important games to lead up to the all-important trophy. Now, to start here with Alliance, this is a squad that's been playing a lot of LANs in 2025, and to win a LAN in Sweden only a few weeks ago has got to be a good little buffer to say, right, we've tasted success, we're now going into tougher competition, we've got more extended games against teams we're more familiar with, but we've got to try and achieve the same outcome. We've got to go deep again.
And typically when you say a LAN in Sweden, you often tend to think, okay, well, it's like the Svenska Cups or whatever, you know, those Swedish-only tournaments that limit towards the national circuit. But no, actually, Game Zone had a number of Nordic teams as well. Arbe were there, Masonic also competing in this tournament, had their slot in the knockout round, got eliminated in last night's best of 3s. AM Gaming as well, who were also in the quarterfinals, they played in that event as well. So Alliance have had to topple all of these titans, if you will, of this tournament in order to make it into that grand final, in order to make that championship win. The best part about Alliance, however, is not that it's just to come out of nowhere, right? They've been doing great work online, starting to get some good runs in the ECL Cups, and earlier on this year they attended an arena event in the Elisa Nordic Championship where you and I, Dwight, had them pinned as like the key sort of veterans, and they almost had that grand final there. They were in that final position, choked at the very end of that patch-up, and forced the changes that seem to have catapulted them now to a very relevant stage of competition.
But they've decided that someone needed to get kicked, and it was unfortunately Pleasant that was involved in that bubble. They bring in Poi, who has recently recently a part of the Eyeballers side, and this guy is mustard. I sat behind him at Epic LAN in July, and he's unbelievable. He's such a good rifler, really calm, and brings a lot of youth. I mean, 19 years old, you're hungry for the success. You're hungry to maybe feel like what Twist was at the start of his career. When you've been to majors, when you've been to the top, when you're 30, you've sometimes got to bring that youth into the team to try and get that hunger up there. And for Alliance, I mean, 11 matches won in a row on HLTV.
Yeah.
They're in good form, and this is the perfect start of a playoff bracket to say, look, you're going up against a weakened Sashi side today. Let's come in, let's get a clean victory, let's look on for the semi-finals, and let's prove that we've got what it takes to upset teams later on in the bracket and try and lift the trophy.
Of those 11 matches, the 5 best-of-1s came through from the group stage, with 6 best-of-3s coming into the tournament. Meant that right now, this Alliance side is a very, very scary team. And before the show, Dwayne, we always sort of like compare our notes and sort of go through our general sort of like specifics of what we want to talk about today. You said earlier something about Alliance's chances to win the tournament that had me rather interested. Do you want to just repeat that on stream for us today?
Yeah, I think they've got what it takes to win. I think that they're strong enough on LAN to be able to show it. I mean, look at the LAN placements that they've had across this entire year. They had, what, a top 8 at Level Up Lund, in which they lost to 9 in the quarters. They went on to go all the way to the grand final. Alyssa Nordic Championship, you just spoke about that one. They got to the grand final, were up 11-7 on map 3, couldn't win there. Glitch Masters, a little bit disappointing, knocked out by Passion UA in a top 6. Passion UA went on towards the final. Epic LAN, only team they lost out to was Iberian Soul. They won the event. You then go into the Urban Riga and you get tested against a national derby in your opening matchup against Eyeballers, and then lose to OG, who just qualified to a major in a best of 1. They have a lot of good LAN placements. So for that reason, with the knowledge that Poi is playing exceptionally well, with how the team is pushing on, I mean, Jay, I know you always like to talk about the VRS. Alliance are currently at their highest VRS rank for the core's history, which dates back over 15 months. They are peaking right now and at the perfect time to win this entire LAN.
Yeah, as of this morning, number 46 in the world for Alliance. That's up from 55 at the VRS ranking update from GitHub earlier on this week. So the LAN definitely has done wonders for them. On the Sashi side, they're going to have to do a lot of contention in order to try and beat out this Swedish side. But we're quickly moving into the veto today, so we'll talk about them in a second. Break it down for me.
And Mirage is going to get banned from Sashi or Alliance. Both teams insta-ban as Mirage. So if it does get floated, just keep that in the back of your mind. For the picks, we know that Sashi like a lot of Nuke, and we know that for Alliance, they like a lot of Inferno. So what are we getting here? We're getting an Inferno ban, we're getting a Mirage ban, we're going into something slightly different with Sashi recognizing how the map pool is going to play out. So if you are Alliance, you've got Train and you've got Ancient. So they're your 2 options, and they go in towards Ancient.
Yeah, Train can still be floated as a 3rd map in the pool, depending on how Sashi take the next wave of the bans here. I do respect the prospect of not taking Nuke directly for Sashi, given the records they've had on it over on the Alliance side. I certainly would have liked to have seen them try it again, because they still had it overall in terms of their last best of 3 in the knockout stage, and Alliance indeed will lean into that Train. With the other option being Nuke, it makes a lot of sense that you go to that strengthened pick right there, overpass on Sashi's home territory. With the amount of Nuke that they played in the last 3 months, though, Dweg, it does sort of make me worried about Sashi's overall map pool, that they have just that one key strong element, because all the rest of them sort of trail off immediately after you see 30 maps played in the last 3 months there. So what is the depth like on Overpass?
I think it's fairly good. I mean, they played it only once in the comp against Little Mix and probably got tested a bit too much than what they should have done. Overpass tends to get banned in the second wave of the veto quite regularly for Alliance, so I think it's definitely a good map in for Sashi. I look at this veto process overall, and I think at least Inferno is out of there. I would probably say that Alliance may be the #1 tier 2 team on Inferno right now. Their record is unbelievable. So if they do go on a bit of a run in this COB, you'll probably get teams permabanning Inferno quite regularly, and it just gives Alliance not that straight up advantage in every single best of 3.
With 2 strong maps at the tail of the veto, Dwayne, with Inferno in mind. I start the back Alliance in this best of 3. I will give Sashi at least the benefit of the doubt for taking Overpass, but 2-1 Alliance is my prediction here.
I'm going to go 2-0 towards Alliance. I think if you really want to consider yourself to be a title fight, you've got to show dominance early, and that's to not lose a map against Sashi.
Sashi have kick-started in the pistol round. Smoothia, the stand-in, draws out first blood with Poi to fall immediately out in the mid-access, and A-site will be stormed very quickly. Just that one contact individual, 4-man south towards the B-site. Alliance have to play retake here, and that's even if they can even get to the bomb site. They're so far away and so slow on the rotate.
But they're waiting for the late lurk that can come out from Connector, so that's being held from Cabby at the moment. Now, Uppy's definitely made noise opening up the Condor. All Cabby needs to do is just try and deal with this one individual. Everybody else can focus their attention towards Bank and Dumpstar.
Knock around the corner with the Julies. That B will be taken down quickly alongside the kills coming in from Zyphon and Co. Zyphon doubling up towards the two players that come in from Bamstone and Bank. And only a total of 30 HP lost across the entire Sashi board. Pistol Win comes in confident.
Now, I didn't get a chance to talk much about Zyphon in the pre-show. He has been easily the best player of this entire tournament. So he's currently the second highest rated player of the event. He's first in the event for highest KD difference, first for most kills per round, first for most multi-kills rounds, and first for most headshots. And should I also add, round 21 and round 22 on Nuke yesterday versus BC Game in that best of 3, he got aces, Jay, in back-to-back rounds. Crazy individual performance to try and close that best of 3.
Big stuff from a big man, and I guess with the tech pause inbound, we have a chance to really talk about Sashi because it was very Alliance heavy in that pre-show. We didn't get much time to discuss the Danish side because, in my eyes, they definitely haven't been at the highest levels that they probably would have wanted to be. You and I had this discussion again off stream about how we sort of look at Sashi, and I sort of see them as not being able to replicate upon that big spike that they had in the summer of last year, and that puts them out of a lot of contention for a lot of these big tournaments. And you know, like it can't be expected that every tier 2 team is going to make their way up to a high level and stay there, but equally so, Sashi did look rather impressive at times, and they haven't been able to replicate that since. And maybe you can talk about some of the roster changes there and why those have been made.
See, I would disagree with it being replicated because I think it's been replicated on LAN. Now, I'll agree with you online. Yeah, I think their online results are fairly average. Nothing's caught my attention. But this entire year, 3rd at Ice Invitational, 4th at Level Up Lund, 3rd, 4th at Game Box Festival, another top 8 at Glitch Masters where they knocked out by Passionue, who ended up going and winning the entire tournament, and then they got a 4th place at the European Esports Championship back in July. So their LAN results are very consistent for the players that they have. They don't have top-end Tier 2 players. They're a system-based team who's had a lot of different in-game leaders, players coming in and out, shuffling around for the last few months or so. So if I'm looking at the start of the year to where we are right now, I'm very satisfied with Sashi's LAN performances.
I mean, I will say that there are some caveats to a lot of those tournaments, though. You mentioned the top 3 at Ice Invitation. That's top 3 out of a total of 4 teams, so that doesn't look impressive when you consider that sort of position. Level Up Lund is fair enough, to be honest. That one is a legitimate tournament that they were able to perform well in. Gamebox Festival is only the Danish teams, though, so it's not exactly the international level that Sashi were competing at the summer of last year. Glitch Masters, again, that one is also fair enough, but EEC, that's all the national teams, and, you know, it's not exactly a ranked tournament either. I don't think they were representing Sashi outright, they were representing Team Denmark. So I will say that there are some asterisks towards that overall for the Sashi side. Now it's time to see if they can deliver one more LAN tournament to try and close out their year on a high note. Got finals, top 8 is at very least a guarantee. Lions looking at favourites to go forward of this one to the second round to start. Sashi charging their way into that beat bomb side. Force is into Swedish side, and they're going to rip them apart. Twist with 2, Avid with 1. 4 versus 2 situation, making it 1 with the next AK dropping, and Smooya is left alone.
Oh, well, Smooya's going to be tilted off for that one. They go in for a rush beam. He's the short lurk, and all of them have just been minced. No one's been trading. They're getting stuck around that barrel smoke, and while they're pressurizing into the water area, they're just losing bodies and losing members quickly, and it's the last thing you want against Alliance is to win a clean pistol, go into the anti-force buy, and give away not only a round victory, but 3 rifles. Give them so much confidence going forward now.
Minute on the clock, and he's going to lose these fights very truly and just unable to do so with challenge on the pistol player. Avid can swing out from the pillar and get the first round on the board of the Alliance side. Sashi, confident pistol start, but equally confident return on the break round for the Alliance cam, and that might set the pace for how things will go for the Swedish side. You mentioned 2-0 earlier on, and well, that kind of confidence is the kind of way to set things up for that.
And for Smooya, it's difficult to have too many expectations for his individual form to try and push Sashi on, because he's only been standing in with them for a couple of tournaments. He's played, what, 21 maps on HLTV, and 7 of them were in day 1 of the com. Just trying to help them out until Lucky returns. So if he can push on with a map win, if he can get another best of 3, that can all be looked at as a positive. Avid, good jump spot, sees 2 players and the bomb out there in short water.
Nines are able to still continue to strike back for the Sashi side. Back turn towards that boost, just evaded the eye of that Galil. That AK going to reposition back ahead of the jail. You ready to receive some contact? Clear, but no one will get spotted until one player pops out from the short pipe. It's a man advantage for Sashi here.
We've got a lot of players on B. The jump spot of Poi out in Dice is not seeing anything towards long or the bathroom, so they can keep 3B. And for Sashi, there was just a little insertion out towards Monster, but the counter flashes from the Heaven player there of Era has just halted Sashi, just cancelled ever so slightly.
And the lane up into the mid-access for Becky. Try and bring the Sashi side forward into that mid-control point. Man to receive on the side directly again with not much rotation room for Alliance. They're putting heavy-handed emphasis on the B-bomb site. Second man is on the way in now, though, and that will give Sashi the moment they need to strike. Boy will say Becky back for one kill. Mistar trailing. Zyton's Beagle. Fantastic as well. Era moves on with the P250, trying to upgrade towards that automatic, but caught by a swing out wide. Smooya will plant the bomb, and Avid's really not got a chance to clutch. As we go back and forth here between Sashi and Alliance.
Indeed we do, and that's going to be frustration from Twist, because this is the perfect round to win. You had a lot of players staying alive previously, you had weapons being held forward, which helps out your own economy game. All you need to do is make sure you disallow a bomb plant, get yourself up 3-1, you go into the first gun round with even limitations of the money for Sashi, and then probably go up 5-1, you put a lot of pressure on the Danes, and you come away with a really good first half score. Instead, you've now lost the anti-force buy, and while the money's going to be okay for a rebuy back, that was your slight moment of opportunity disappearing. And for Sashi, this is going to be a game for Smooya that gives me a lot of similar feels to what happened in the United Kingdom back in July at Epic Land. We saw a good run, I would say, from the Swedes overall. They beat everyone in the playoffs, except to Iberian Soul and twice, Jay, both in the upper bracket and in the lower bracket, and that was Smooya standing in, right? So yes, it's a completely different team, but you got knocked out by Smooya. There's a chance that that could happen again today.
Well, you're facing an Orpo who managed to outfrag Simple yesterday. You'd certainly have to fear that possibility.
I think Smooya, like I know we'd like to joke a little bit around him on social media and what have you. He is an incredible stand-in. He might be one of the best stand-ins I've seen this year. With how he played with Iberian Soul at Epic and how he performed with NIP in America, bro is just the king. Just put him in any team. I mean, even in Fish 123 that he's been playing with recently on HLTV, he has been farming in the lower divisions. He's been destroying teams.
And he's always been a super talented player. Even back when he was rising up through the rankings of the UK scene, everyone in the UK space was saying, this guy's got it. This guy's got like tier 1 potential. We lived up to that for a certain period when he was back on that big side all those years ago. Grand finals, Ryan, Cologne, and all. The Super Sub has certainly had supreme impact. We're going to have a conversation before the group stage has begun, how Sashi might be weakened because of that stand-in. Well, very clearly, not going to always be the case for that individual. Gabby, can't quite find the kill without that range, although Era is being pressured and will get taken down soon enough, so advantage sits with Sashi. Again, the Orpa, one of the only 2 staple rifles for Alliance, taken out early. Really
ballsy play from the MAC-10. As soon as that bathroom smoke goes down, Cabby just gets on the front side of it, tries to catch a timing. And for Era, always difficult when you're being baited because there's just no room to maneuver anywhere. You're just stuck out there for long. Now it's turning into a gamble stack. Uppy can re-smoke Monster. He can be the lone B anchor. Everybody else is repositioned to try and help out on A.
Zyphon strikes Avid with 2 on the lineup. Triple not quite secured. And that moment could have changed the complexion of the round for Alliance. Instead, Sashi needing to storm their way into that A-bomb site. Will put the bomb down soon enough. Well, best he could possibly do is recover one of those AKs because the round certainly isn't going his way.
Sashi get themselves up to 3. And when I look at their map pool, we always know that Nuke is the go-to, right? I mean, I know that the win rates last 3 months, say 15 wins, 15 losses. It's still a very good map for Sashi. They've picked it, what, 25 times out of about 30 best of 3s. We just don't really see any other map choice. So Inferno's been picked 3 times in the last 3 months, Overpass at 3 and Train at 2. So that just gives you a rough idea of just how infrequently we see the extremity maps being offered. A 3-1 start on the T side and about to be 4-1 is an excellent beginning.
No exit frags against the Sashi side. And they're picking this series of overpass. Attempt to punish the Alliance camp. Very poor results, not exactly reflected all that well on the online space. So it's 6 out of 10 maps in the last 3 months being won by Alliance. Might not be a standard pick for the Sashi side, but going well for them so far. She made their way up to 4-1. The one rifle saved by Uppy, everybody else in the half-ball pistols, and even then just Kevlar for the most part, and USPs across 3 players. Should be easy pickings for this T side line. Lions may have had some steals in the break rounds, but nothing converted off the back of that. Under the rifles where they can really try and post up against Sashi, and they'll need to try and do so soon. They lose control of the attack.
Gavin just running out here to the B. Zyphon clearing up pretty easily. Now, when I think of Zyphon, probably on what, TSM? A brief period last year, there was probably like a good couple of months that he might have been one of the best riflers in Tier 2. He was carrying TSM to so many victories when the team itself was pretty rubbish. They didn't really have much around it. They were struggling in games, and he was just hard carrying. And so now that he's moved over here to Sashi, I still think he's found it difficult because you've had Iceberg as the in-game leader, Kier was the in-game leader, Cabby's now calling. You've had a lot of players come in and out, but the way that he's performed in this tournament shows that previous Zyphon that maybe people remember from Sprout or even on Copenhagen Flames back in the day. I mean, what was the most surprising to me when I was having a look at some of the numbers this morning, Jay, is that when I think about his previous achievements, playing at majors, playing at a tier 1 level, he has half amount of LAN maps on HLTV than Smooya does. And Smooya's got over 300. It's crazy how many LAN tournaments he's actually been to.
Zyphon's career only dates back to 2019. Smooth is a little bit longer than that. I explain the double up discrepancy. And you are right about that TSM stint for Zyphon, though. That team didn't really do much of anything. Of course, joined the Sashi project off the back of that time on TSM. Been around since January of this year and has proved positive in general. Sashi fast plays up into short access for the CT side for now. Alliance. Good as SMG placed up there. No one on the bomb side directly. As long as it starts to get seized by Mr. He's going to get seized by Mr. The flashbang caught him just blinded, so he actually falls back, giving Alliance some time to put some incendiaries down. A prod from the SMG doesn't force out the orb.
You can see the timing that was being exploited there. So all the util indicates that the CTs have taken short water. The Ts wanted to pressurize Monster on a little contact, a bit of a pop. But being team flashed means that you just have to cancel. And for Alliance, they use all that util to take the space, but because you've only got MP9s, you can't hold on to it. You eventually need to fall back. So Sashi, what? Play patient, use one flash, and they've taken all the short water back for free.
And they've also abandoned that position and looked back in mid. A site to be sieged by 3 players on the defensive, though.
This is an insane read from Alliance in a pure gamble. There is no info play anywhere. Yes, there's a jump spot out towards Dice, but they don't have bathrooms and they don't have short water. They are sitting back very defensively.
Third man will go ahead and rotate towards B. There have been a number of rounds where there's only been 1 player on the defensive, still 2 in this one. M4 and that Khalil does not need to further. The fire is affecting him. Turns out 1 secondary player doesn't even go down. Becky lines up 2 with 11 seconds. 1 player on the backside. Avid caught by the AWP. SMG is coming up close, but 3-on-2 established. No mid access for the CT side. They can't flank and deny this bomb plant. Becky is still low. Smooth's been tagged. Smokes Going to get beaten out by Twist. Starts to walk. Makes some noise. Quick face in. Orb shot misses. Transfer back towards Becky. Still leads the triple to the Dane. And up he's got an SMG for a 1 versus 2. Would really like the range game here, especially against Mistar, who is high HP. But Becky closes out a quadra in the round. And Sashi will continue their streak.
And I seem to remember a couple of months ago when we were covering Sashi, Jay, you were asking me about Becky and sort of what my thoughts are. And I kind of used the answer of, I think he's been playing okay, but Sashi sees something in him because he hasn't been kicked. This has been a roster where I think in certain iterations, every time a player has been underperforming or not to a level they've been satisfied with, they've just been kicked out of the door and said, see you later, mate, we're getting somebody else. They have given so much faith over to Becky, and the stats indicate that he's a much better LAN performer for Sashi than what he is online.
I actually have that conversation written down, or at least noted down from the Sashi side, because at one point you were saying Becky wasn't doing okay, and now here on LAN, Sashi are making the best of him. In this round, however, Avid cuts him and Cabby out of the picture. 5-on-3 immediately for the CT side.
Mistar can't do much to trade back these con players. Now, when that smoke clears, he might have a timing to get one, but you expect between Poi and Avid they go 1-1 here on the trade.
Oh no, Mistar doubles up, just around the corner. Twist just holds on to the man advantage. Tanks half HP as well for damage, having to recover that AK. Uppy's on the bomb site, must be best to pass towards him. He's unscathed, and with Kevlar as well. Sashi playing off the man's advantage. Twist going to stick around here, smoke ahead of the sandbags, but stay in the sandbags corner. Could be a 1-for-none position though, and without any extra rifle support of Uppy, Zyphon checks his position. It probably goes the way of Sashi.
This is Greedy coming through from the in-game leader, and Zyphon realizes now, I can just relax. They don't have info on Samuya. He's just contacting. He's just walking out a monster. He wants to scale as far as possible with this big green.
Twist does back off in the end, still hasn't passed that rifle off to his teammate though. Gonna hold down against Smoothie, and he leans forward the utility, tagged at the 31 points of health. Staying the 5-7 up for a kill. The scout to his way in, the bomb plant will be secured by Zyphon. Orb shot missed by Smoothie. Uppy just catches Zyphon, but a little bit late to deny the bomb plant. Cash bonus secured by Sashi. But Alliance will get their round.
We've seen a couple of aggressive moves from Alliance at the start of rounds, haven't we? We previously saw them heavily taking the short water with the MP9. They then go into a limited investment, haven't brought much to the table, and they're just flying into con. They're just sending it deep. They get themselves a 5v3 straight away, and there's a couple of gimmicks. Twist smoking himself off, getting on the other side of the short sandbags. Alliance are playing with confidence, and I think for Sashi, it hasn't disrupted them massively because they've still got a lot of economy being farmed up, but you don't really want to be losing as anti-ecos and anti-half-buys because they will eventually come into effect.
Full sets of weapons now for both teams. Alliance recovering 2 of those AKs. The Orb held in by Era, M4's Warpfire, Avid and Poi. Poi in particular moving mid. Twist in the meantime challenged by the quick pop out of monster by Mistar, and Smoothie Splash Bang assisting in that kill. Working at that trade back elsewhere on the map, but B has been fully taken, so he takes out for Alliance, and Becky, who's being a thorn in their side. In connector, cutting off the rotations of Uppy, getting the man advantage for Sashi.
Well, the round was finished as soon as Twist came down without even finding damage. It doesn't matter what happens elsewhere on the extremity. If your T-Con player gets picked off, if your player in Con falls, you can't have an anchor disappearing without putting damage up. Just beaten by pace. And Sashi, they look on the money. Every time Alliance have won a round, there's always been a response, and it's been uncomfortable for the Swedes. Yes, they hold on to an AWP, an AK, and an M4, but how many rounds are they going to get in this first half? We could see a one-sided score lean.
Certainly looks like it right now. 62 for Sashi's play. 3 rifles will stay in for Alliance, and they've got cash around it to invest, so they will be buying back once again. This T side is going swimmingly for the Dames overall, though a couple of disruptions in the break round, and of course that previous round steal. But they've just been steals. They've never been converted upon to anything that has any bite to it for the Swedish side. Tactical timeout called in by Alliance as a result here, because they need more around this, and just not seeing quite enough on the moment.
And Alliance have got a very different head coach than maybe what some of the other Swedish lineups have. You take Johnny Speeds, they've got Barbar, played at a very high level in the past. You have a look at the Eyeballers, they've got Petter, right, head coach of NIP, even played at a major. you have Hawk here for Alliance, who came up in the very small local divisions. He was a part of X Gamer, 4 Elements. He was working with Swaggy and the boys over there on Chets in the UK scene for a little bit. And then he was the assistant coach of the Prodigy Sweden project. So definitely not a guy that's had a large repertoire of success or even opportunities in the past, but he's been the head coach of Alliance ever since the start of last year, so nearly a 2-year period.
On that team. Sashi is cut down by Uppy this time as they move in from Monster. That flash support should have given Mistar the kill. Instead, the blind sprays have worked up better. Man advantage and very little damage done in return, in fact, for the Sashi side, which kind of surprises me.
Well, it's the exact same move, isn't it, from Sashi? They try and go in for that monster lane, but it's a different maneuver from the perspective of the CTs. Now, last time, Twist was caught up there on the monster wall. Uppy's a little bit more in the open, a bit more towards the left side. And while it's a very good opening pick, it's Smooth on the scale that makes one happen.
Again, in this sandbags corner, Smooth goes full victim to it this time. M4, quick burst to the head, takes him down. Good effort there from the Brit. But again, lacking in the support for Sashi in general to the bomb site with the kills that came in. Now the A play comes forward. The bomb's only late to the party, but the 2 CT, or the 2 CT, I should say, to get that over 1 point, it almost gets a double out of that one. Becky does take the trade back. He's been very consistent in trying to bring Sashi into these rounds. That bomb now up towards side should get planted in a moment's time. It'll be an advantage for Alliance on the retake though.
Becky's been able to block with Cabby smoke out here to the dumpster. They need to try and slow down the bank players, and Cabby can at least get one.
Knows what a second player is as well, so that's all the info they require out of Sashi. Becky's going back here. Cabby can't really strike Becky with for a moment, but gets back killed again in the end. And Uppy is going to get caught inside that smoke for Becky to once again become the savior of the Sashi side. 9-4 on his kill counts, top fragger for the T side and in server in general. Yeah, he's delivering today.
Indeed he is, but Alliance aren't delivering with the reads on stacking up the bomb sites. There's been numerous occasions where Poi is either playing towards the truck or Dice APC, and he's just alone, isn't he? He's not there to set up a crossfire. There's no one in bank. There's no one that's out there to dumpster. They've had so many players stacked up on B against these A hits, and for a solo individual defending A, very difficult to multi-frag and waste a lot of time if you're not getting that util support. Sashi have played a very concise game on T side. They've been working success in the opening, I would say, 30-odd seconds of the round. Like, we're constantly seeing a pick, either the short water or monster. I know that round was an opening def, but responded back quickly by Smooya. Because they can keep pressing these opening sequences of rounds for kills, it's making Alliance gamble quite a lot in the mid to late round.
Subs feels so B-centric, and even right now in this default, 2 men in mid, 3 players towards B. Sashi are able to get the kills against those B players, and they do make those aggressive stances. They're going to try and, I think it was going to boost the AWP in a moment, they're going to boost the AK instead. But they will go for the AWP boost. You're going to see anyone toxic. Not quite adding to the burst fire. The jump face will give away the info, but the kill goes the way of Alliance elsewhere out towards mid. Siphon's cut down. And there are no rotations from Alliance here.
Era's not seeing anything towards top cods. They know that it must be a B lane. This amount of time left on the clock, and we got a kill out towards playground. It will be very difficult for the T's to regain space back towards A. And even for Becky, he challenges the AWP buff. You can't really go A.
I'm going to try for it here for Sashi. They're giving connected control and giving mid space. All those two players from Alliance have rotated back from long. And then your battle. Smooya is baited for it. Good effort there from Era. Man advantage lost just yet. Bombs on his way in towards this long position, supported by Becky. So keep your eyes on how Poi will deal with that, because if he gets those 2 kills, he will be round over before they even get to the bomb site. Becky's also low. Flashbang forward, checked upon. Era doesn't hit the trade shot. Flash is being sent forward with Avid now trying to provide that support. Smokes go deep, and that will block off long as an access point. It'll have to be a mid-take.
And they've got a lurk in at short water, and Uppy's seeing nothing. He knows there's nothing towards B now, so they just need to get ready for A.
Era's a strut back on Smooya, didn't see that bomb carrier. Actually, towards the sent man getting caught, and now Cabby's down. Becky with that trade, 12 seconds. Twist going to trade him. He's missed out on a half HP, and Twist puts him down at the dog. He is third for Alliance.
Well, we just get a moment of brilliance there from Era. Difficult to defend A when you're being swarmed by two sides. You've got pressure coming in from the bathrooms and players coming in from long. Now that smoke does give you a little bit of coverage, but you still have to be very quick to react. And for Twist on the rotation coming up doesn't give respect. I think there's a lot of players that when you're down 2 and 7, maybe you're a bit afraid to go for that peek out to dumpster. Maybe you think, okay, let's just give them the respect of the bomb. No, give them absolutely nothing. Make sure you're fighting for it. And Sashi cannot keep that streak going.
Ended by Alliance. Now looking for a 5th to close out the half, a 4th in this round. Best case scenario for the CT side. Sashi, best case is still 9-3, so we can still be very strong to close out the T half. It's 4 to the good. And a slow approach from Sashi. Alliance have gone even more passive on their line of engagement. Poise the most forward man in the bathroom's entrance. The jump face from a player on the backside. That's Era's ball. Taking out the AWPer of the CT side, and actually in Siphon. Now it extends out towards the first contact point, unawares of that mid position, and the kill goes the way of the Sashi side once again. But without the execution to follow, they have drawn 3 players over on the A bomb site.
And the Danes have just been so dangerous around this banana position, constantly making it awkward for the A defenders. And up he's full blind, and he's the only B player. This should be an instant save.
More than likely. They have rotated to try and hope that his position's held, but you can see that Smooth is ready for the overextensions of Alliance, and they're hoping that they go for the retake. In the end, Simpsons do think better of it, and they hope for a slim chance to go their way. And it hasn't. Can't be secured. Era. Be wary of a boost in towards this Heaven position. I haven't seen it at all so far in this game. But nobody will be there to receive from Sashi. All of Lines back off to save these guns. Have at least 3 rifles for the ending stage of this half. There are a little bit of a cash bonus in the lost bonuses, but not a massive amount. 8-3 for Sashi. An excellent return.
And I'm not sure which way to look at it. Is it that Alliance are getting unlucky with some of these stacks? Or is it poor reading from Twist as an in-game leader? Or the counter, is it really good calling coming through from Cabby? Because we've seen previously a lot of B defenses where A was the target. Now we've got a round where, yeah, Zyphon's putting some pressure up and he's pulling a distraction out from Banana and he gets himself a good kill. Up he's just completely alone on B. You've got 3 defenders up there on A. And then as a B anchor, you probably need 2 kills in that situation to even make the round remotely winnable, and he gets absolutely nothing. We've had Sashi consistently in the majority of gun rounds in this first half go into weakened bomb sites that has less individuals on it.
And I think that really is the argument. You're asking whether or not it's unlucky or whether it's just Sashi being good. I think Sashi is being good. The utility seems on point. The entry frags are right there. Alliance have been generally weak to defensive lines and positioning one player towards one bomb site. It just indicates to me you haven't got a lot of depth and knowledge of how to play overpass.
Oh, that's a hot take. I'll put it that way.
Oh look, it's the kind of thing that didn't work out for me in my uni career 40 years ago, so I'd take it. Alliance have been losing constantly. Troy going down first up in contact. Sashi, the opening drawn out by Becky on the low HP. Zyphon took some of that as well. Advantage for Sashi. Once again, the mid face gone awry. Well, once again, take 3 players towards this A-bomb site with Uppy backed up over at the monster entrance, trying to watch out for Sashi's positions. AWPer again trying to spot from long. I've seen one player jumping past APC, but doesn't get the shot for it.
Sashi are keeping this quite simple in round 12. Rather than having extremity lurks, they're just pack and grouping now that they've got a 5v4. Now, Zyphon can maintain the bathrooms and top connector. Everybody else is just contacting long.
Oh, shot missed out by Era. That's caught napping. AK trying to lean forward. Actually gets caught by Abid, even though there's low HP players close to the bomb site. Twist on 2 HP. He uses his backup now. He's got no chance of making a defense happen. Uppy's so far away. Sashi, quick and clinical to these hits. Quick and clinical to these kills. And that shot on Twist confirms what you already knew. It's going to be a 9-3 half for the Danes. Sashi, excellent stuff on the T side of their map. Big of overpass. Locked in by Smooths at double at the tail end of the round. 6 to the good for the Danish core. And Alliance continue to struggle on this map.
Yeah, this has been an excellent showing from Sashi in the first half. And one aspect of just player interviews, I think it's always just bollocks, right? Is when they go, oh, like, that player brings really good vibes. It's like, yeah, so what? Who cares, mate? However, when we used to cast Sashi back in the day with Iceberg, he was a really animated player, wasn't he? He used to get really loud, he used to hype up the team. Now that he's not there, I think Smooya brings a lot of those vibes, especially to a LAN environment. And knowing how quiet some of the other Danish players are on Sashi, I think Smooya must just be having so much fun, and Sashi having fun when you're being successful on LAN.
God, if we had a mic in the arena, just put it next to Smooya and just call it a day. Second half advantage, of course, for Sashi's side. 9-3 into the CT half of things. Alliance going to have to take a pistol if they want a chance at this. I'm trying to look for some sort of stat to indicate there's some way back into the Alliance camp, a positive moment, a positive thing that might be like a working angle. I'm just not finding anything at all. It's going to be a tough return. Mistar and Zyphon quickly make it so. Kills on the USP and Julie sets in connector 5-on-3 established. Twist. Move up. Fight back to the Julies. Desperate to get the kill together, and Poi turning back on Zyphon. 4 versus 2. Still favouring Sashi. Uppy jumps out a monster. Found by Becky. Poi left alone. 1v4 clutch. That's not going to happen. The attempt from the pistol for Sashi, and closing time for Overpass inbound very soon.
It's not even been a heavy carry game from Zyphon. He's definitely played well. But it's not like what we've seen in the previous best of 3 against BC game and what we saw in the group stage, where he's just getting Sashi out of trouble. Poi is not even getting much of a chance in this one. And the context is important. I think Poi in that first half was left in a lot of solo positions when he was going aggro mid or even defending the A bomb side. However, he is the highest rated player for Alliance in the last 3 months on this map by quite a distance. And when you've got a player with that pedigree not quite delivering, of course it's going to be difficult to compete, right? You're not going to always get the same outcome and the same competitiveness of rounds. He finished that first half with only 5 kills. One of them just came in that pistol, in which it's basically a round that's just, it's got nothing in it. It's just not winnable at all.
Alliance overwhelmed throughout the course of this matchup. Sashi faced the force buy of the T side, so this indicates to me that they're going to try to force their way to steal a lucky round or you know, some sort of like fast play or something that catches Sashi off guard like they've done in the past. Again, the second round break in the first half was taken by Alliance in their own force of best, but Smooya's got 2 kills out of mid from range. Uppy can't get the strike he's looking for on short. Only trade back from Era, still isolated out towards mid. Smooya ready to receive the man. Doesn't want to get the player. 2 versus 2. Can't get the player back towards dumpster though. The plant is secured, but the cash bonus won't mean anything in this force by contacts. They need to win the round if they want to continue to try and contest this map.
Well, Era's just a running decoy now. 14 HP. It's down to the in-game leader to make anything happen. Era needs to draw them in and allow the M4 to do the damage.
Kills easy for Cabby and Mistar. That's 11 to the board of Sashi. Easy pickings. It looks so simple. It feels so simple. 11-3. 8 to the good. Alliance finding no answers on the opening map up here. Sashi very clearly right to pick into Overpass.
And we've definitely seen yesterday in the best of 3s. In this one, changes of the veto. Teams looking at different directions. Now it's maybe on LAN, and they're looking at on-the-day performance, or at least what day one was, and how they can attribute themselves. Even when Smooya was standing in for Iberian Soul, the Spanish guys were picking a lot of nuke, and Smooya was quite comfortable. Definitely a different veto today. Poi trying to go aggressive around the smoke with Util, but there's just too many CTs. They're up at party, they're on the stairs underneath, and then Avid's just desperate for the trade because it's a 4v5, and, well, the round's just over already.
Yeah, one more can you add to it? Just Alliance have been unable to convert these opening man disadvantages. Both halves. Sashi has been so proficient at getting them. The executions on the T side were on point. The defensive lines have locked out well.
And to think that this went to overtime versus Little Mix yesterday for Sashi.
Yeah.
Quicks and Co, they're not even a team. They haven't been a team for years. They're always just, they come with basically him and Bowden, and then it's whoever you can find. I know that Plesson's playing with them, so you've got a veteran core 3. But come on, that team shouldn't be competitive. That team shouldn't have even been able to make the top 12. So for them to challenge as much as they did and then see Alliance doing nothing, definitely underwhelming.
Little Mix still an organisation, or is it just a name now?
It's definitely an org, but they don't represent a CS team. They've got like a youth team now, and they've got teams in other esports, but no, their CS team is basically dead from this point.
They truly are a Little Mix. Sashi are a fully fledged team though, and they are proving it. 12-3 map points, 9 map points, Alliance. Well, certainly seem like they're checked out of Overpass. They might have been for a very long time. At this point, you just forget it and move on to Ancient. You move on to your own pick. You move on to that train. Which again, in my eyes, the back end of the veto does look rather proficient for Alliance. So I do believe that they're still on for a 2-1. But this is a very, very confident way for Sashi to open up.
Just a shame that Alliance had the opportunity of winning the Force by Wars at the start of this map. Now, not to say that that would have changed anything. It would have made the game and the scoreline more competitive. They tried the exact same thing from what they did in the previous round, and it's pretty much the same outcome. A double kill again from the CTs against the T-Con players.
Now, run out of ideas of Alliance. He's picking up that AK from Zyphon. All 3 remaining players do have rifles, but they're still playing with man disadvantage and with such a tiny amount of map control. By the way, up long and mid, passive lines of engagement from Sashi the same. Not seeing anything more of the Alliance side outside of that one jewel. Minute to go before Sashi would claim this map. Alliance are still forming up the A hit.
Smooya has not seen anything on a contact just yet. Now, when he does, he's got util to block. Try and drop that smoke, drop that incendiary, make it awkward for the offense. They are gaining space out towards long, and now contacts come in.
Incendiary long, a little bit late to start, but he blocked in the end. Avid can get Cabby in the back lines, and Avid can turn it into a 2v2. So bomb plan is secured. Opportunities may still open up yet for Alliance. It comes down to Becky and Mistar. Becky, that key individual that's had so many impactful rounds for Sashi, particularly on that T side. Lead them into the retake here. The dumpster smoke in effect for now, about to start fading. They're going to walk forward of it regardless. Avid has fallen away from long. We'll hear Becky making his moves up. They check the back lines of Dice and for the engage. Becky's challenge goes down. Mistar will challenge one player, looks the last man around that corner and gets taken aback. So it's survival for Alliance for now.
It's just been an entire map where everything's gone the opposite way. It's all gone towards Sashi. So finally you get not just a survival, but you win a clutch. You win a situation that was unlikely in that 1v2. Sashi, I think Smooya just caught using a little bit too much util there. Tries to drop the smoke to the left-hand side of Dice, puts the incendiary out to long, uses a HE. If he just has his weapon drawn, if he just has his M4 up, he easily gets that first kill and maybe a second. At least he's on the big green now, and for Alliance, well, you don't expect much of a streak if there's any kind of comeback. This should be ended quickly from Sashi.
If there is any kind of comeback, it has to be 9 in a row, because that's that or bust. Mentioned it yesterday in the best of 3, a one step at a time scenario for Alliance. They just need to take it round by round. They can't focus on that bigger picture. Do what you can when you can and hope that it all works out. Otherwise, put your full focus on the second map of the series. 3 players inbound. Long flash turn away from Zyphon. It's caught off by the 3-man unit. The AWP credited with the kill. And long control and access taken by Alliance.
Now, Uppy is outside B and waiting for monster aggression, so this could be more of a contact. Yeah, there it is. 2 kills. Easy.
Switches to Sashi. Good time. 4 versus 2 now. Or 5 versus 2. Should say 5 versus 1. Boy takes Kebby back, and Smooya is all alone. Not a single casualty taken by the Alliance side. Should take the bomb site as well towards B. Those 2 kills from Uppy indicating what they pretty much stood to gain in that one. The AWP trying to survive at this stage. The round certainly is not going his way.
It's going to be difficult to survive, because where do you look? Do you worry about the long lurk that you know is there? Do you think about Rap from behind you? What about someone coming up from B? A little bit of a whiff there from Poise, so he gets away with one, but easily traded back by Era Alliance. Made that look pretty comfortable.
Get a bit of a moment's respite as well. Eco round and bound from Sashi, or half by at best. Couple rounds in a row for Alliance whittling down the CT economy. About to build their own money state. Once that money state is built, then from here on out, you'd be looking at just establishing all those confident buys, and economy won't be a factor for them. The 3v6 to bring themselves within a half of Sashi's scoreline. All 5 players stacked up in mid. That was connected as well. Some players out. That HE should be able to CT side players will get away with a couple of kills out of it at least, or a couple of AKs that they can recover and hold into the next round. That would be a positive way just to secure the eco at this point.
This entire best of 3, I would feel, is going to be a good test for Cabby as a caller to not only work with a team as a stand-in with Smooya, but also prove that the change of in-game leadership is going to benefit in a positive way. Because he's worked with some good in-game leaders in the past, hasn't he? Worked with TMB out on AGF. He had, what was it, Bird from Sky and Lingby Vikings, and he had Patty on Ecstatic. So you've definitely had mentors and guys that you can work off of and learn from, but he's never really called. So this, for the first time in his career, is quite a shift in a role. And, well, the success from Sashi in the summer to end of 2025 has been fairly average, fairly underwhelming. You win this game and you get yourself into a top 4. I think you make quite a statement in an international LAN.
Terrorists win.
Quarterfinal proceedings is important to both sides. We've already discussed how Alliance want to try and gun for the whole tournament. Sashi, when they're super sub, will have nothing more than to do the same. The winner of this matchup will face on against the winner of the sport game. That boom will charge on that one in that particular series, 10-6. Will face the rifles of Sashi once again. One good round is all it will take for the CT side. I don't know if he spotted Cabby. I suppose there might be a boost in play. Looking towards Toxic Barrels, nobody is seen. That actually plays far. It's hard. But Jewel tries to go up for Twist, but he doesn't get the kill for it. Becky wins out the fight. It's 6 points of health to spare.
That's tilting. That's a free kill. Anyone on a boost up when you're not being watched is just an insta-death. And instead, it's a counter boost from the CT side, and it's gone from a good little setup there from Twist to a 5v3 in the span of, what, 5-10 seconds? Just instant.
Oh, even Era missing his chance. The Molotov lands inside that smoke, but Becky is protected. Mistar will get driven out of the way over at Water. Frag found by Avid, finally turns out one. Becky's still on for a headshot from beyond that smoke. Finally, Avid will deal with him. It's down to 2 men, down to 1 man as Cabby will strike, and Poi is left alone in the clutch. Tapping that bomb, trying to draw out some fights, but no one's close towards them. They know that they can concede the bomb plant and just win off the 3v1 retake. Setting up towards short, player over at heaven, player over at jungle. Smooya takes a second chance, Poi takes him back. 22 seconds, Cabby undetected. As it's Zyphon who's going to wait for that bomb to get tapped. He knows the default plant really needs tap 1. Zyphon swings, and Poi is not ready for it. 13-6, Sashi will indeed close out their map pick of overpass.
It's a really good showing from the Danes because they didn't give many chances at all there to Alliance. I think we certainly saw yesterday some 13-6, 13-7 score lines, which was a bit misleading, right? There was a few clutches that maybe didn't go their way, or the swing round that didn't quite get won. Alliance just struggled from the get-go. They had a brief moment where they could have challenged the first few gun rounds because of how the anti-force buy rounds were going, but throughout the entire first half and second half, they were out their depth. They were outclassed there.
Indeed they were, and that really I think goes to show what I was mentioning about the overpass, and Alliance not really as familiar with the map as hopefully they'd like to be. I mean, I know they probably practice it at certain points, but in those official matches they haven't really been able to deliver them, and it just felt like they never really had an answer to any of the executions they had on the Sashi side. All the utility was well placed. Alliance didn't have any responses to that. The opening frags were always there. Alliance had some trades in potential, but they weren't able to really gain control of actual rounds for the most part on that CT side especially. Yeah, it was a very good showing from Sashi, showing why they picked into this map in this series. Again, I still believe that Alliance have some favoritism going in towards their own map pick and train as the final map in the series. I still believe the back end of the veto process, the back end of this best of 3, could still favour the Swedes.
It's going to be tough for Sashi to push on. Now, their group stage was very solid. The only loss that they took against BetBoom. And then last night they took on BC Gaming a tight little 2-0. So I think from their point of view, they would like to try and get a 2-0 win, try and see if they can edge out an upset. But it's just not going to be easy because you bang on. The veto looks very good for Alliance. And there's a good reason why they've won 11 series in a row. They're not going to bow out of this best of 3.
Absolutely not. Ancient is coming up next, is the pick of the Alliance side and their chance to bounce back. Let's see how well Sashi can carry forward this momentum, or the Alliance will start to dominate their own way after the break.
Jag får åka bakom. En kamera. Ja. Flash för höger. Jag chillar, jag gömmer min kamera. Jag låter den komma in lite. Flash med höger. Höger.
Bredband 2. Helt vanligt internet.
Går du i tanken att bygga din egna dator, men kanske inte riktigt vet vilka delar du ska välja eller hur du ska komma igång? Då är The Build rätt lösning för dig. Tillsammans med marknadens mest välkända tillverkare har vi samlat ihop och skapat färdiga paket med komponenter till riktigt bra priser. För att det ska vara lätt för dig så skickar vi med en tydlig manual i både pappers- och videoformat. Dessutom får du hela 5 års garanti på hela ditt bygge. Med The Build får du alla delar du behöver för att kunna bygga din egna dator. Så tveka inte att ta steget till en egen byggdator idag.
Red Bull ger dig vingar.
Excellent start from Sashi here in their best of 3 quarterfinal matchup over the Alliance camp. A confident overpass now leaning into the Alliance map pick of Ancient. Dwaygu said there could be 2 potential map picks for this team, Ancient and Train. Ancient and Train will be played out for the rest of this best of 3. So even though it was a very slow and awkward start from the Swedish side, I do believe that they can still bounce back in this best of 3 as they head into stronger territory.
You'd certainly expect so, but look, we've seen surprises already. We saw a lack of competitiveness out of map number 1, and we have just seen Eyeballers taking Ince's map pick and BetBoom taking Metasport's map pick. So there's some scares already when it comes to the quarterfinals. Alliance need to make sure that they don't get scared. They are a very good Ancient team. They have been demolishing teams on LAN yesterday on this map. 13-3 and 13-3 back-to-back against AM and BC Game. I want that Alliance today.
Indeed, and I think that they could certainly deliver that because, again, it is their strong territory. We did not see any of overparts throughout the course of the tournament from Alliance until they faced Sashi a moment ago. Now we're in stronger situations. 72% win rate, or nearly 73% win rate over the last 3 months for Alliance's side of things, 16 out of 22 matches being won. All sorts of positivity going towards this one, and we have seen them dominate their way through it over the course of the weekend. So in my eyes, this is where they can bounce back and get involved in this best of 3. It's already Sashi in the lead. Alliance are on the T-side start, leaning into a B bomb site with no centralized B defenders, both players out towards Cave and Cheetah, and that means Alliance get a bomb plant for 3 here. That being the back lines will get faced upon. Avid with Era's combination will take both.
Smuya trying to take contact, just immediately falls. And I don't want to jinx it, Jay, but Alliance have never lost Ancient on LAN in 2025. They are 5-0 on this map.
It would be a very impressive statement for Sashi to be able to take this map as a result here. Make it 2-0 series and all 4-on-2. However, indicates the start is going to sit with Alliance regardless. Avid, another kill back towards Zyphon. Mr. will be hard there towards this cave entrance. They'll try and adjust towards the man, but they've got 4 players, so regardless of what he does, he is going to get traded, and Era will be the man to seal the deal. I think that's a triple in the round for him. And a pistol win for Alliance.
Now, we've been talking about the winning streak that Alliance have been having recently and their online officials, what they've done on LAN. You might get the odd team in Tier 2 that has maybe a 1 or 2 map winning streak. Alliance, going into this best of 3, had 4. They had 3 overpasses in a row, 3 nukes in a row, 4 Ancients, and then, of course, the Inferno. 14 Infernos in a row. There's a very good reason why Inferno was permabanned there from Sashi and why we've had to go into Ancient in this best of 3.
Yeah, again, we talked about that so much in the veto process. It makes a lot of sense, even if it isn't standard to Sashi's own defaults. Now, get that strong map of Alliance out of the picture in the same way the Lions get rid of Nuke in the same time. Do not allow Sashi to take their own strengths. Doesn't stop Alliance from still taking control of this map. They've got a much more spread out map pool by comparison to the Danes, who, as I said earlier, I could argue that Nuke is not the only map that they can play, but the one map that they're the strongest on by a country mile. Inferno certainly is the case for Alliance, but it's not like the 30 maps to the 13 of Nuke and Dust 2 for Sashi, for example.
And it's not just the map pool depth that Alliance have. The core of Sashi dates back, what, 6 months? The core of Alliance dates 15. This is a much more long-standing team that haven't frequently made player changes, haven't looked to try and upgrade the roster. And I think at times it probably hindered them. I mean, especially with the very first iteration of the team when they had Robin in there and had Bodemaster. I was begging for ages. Just something. Get someone out, bring somebody in. And I know that there's been some hot prospects in Sweden for the last, let's say, 12 months or so. Male 09 has caught a lot of people's attention. I believe that Poi is a larger prospect. I think he's got a much bigger future ahead of him for probably 2 reasons. First off, Male 09 is 16, so it's difficult to see him ever progress up towards the top end of Tier 2 until he becomes maybe 18, 19 and gets a few lands under his belt. I think Poi is ready. Now, I know that he had a bit of a poor map number 1, but this guy is easily Alliance's best rifler, and I really want him to show that on a map like Ancient and on Train, his true potential, because when he's performing well, Alliance are winning a lot of games, and that's what's been happening for them recently in this run of form.
I think Poi is like one of the top 5 ranked players in the competition or something within that margin.
He came into this best of 3, so before map 1, as the 3rd highest rated in the event.
Yeah, I think Dory just overtook him with the inner circle situation and Poi's previous map up being able to drop him down a little bit. So you are right outside of that. So just to really show you exactly how good this guy is and how much mustard he's delivered for this Alliance side. Excellent stuff. expected out of the man. Right now, Alliance can find excellence in the second round as well. Sashi have 4 support. 1 SMG for Mistar, pistols for everybody else.
Now, it's probably going to be a lack of info for Sashi, just because of the buy state that they'll be on. They're going to keep trying to block, but they're going to play deep in the bomb side. They're not even contesting for Cave. And Mistar eventually goes out in the open and just about gets the damage away from Twist, but he doesn't fall all the way. He only goes down to 12.
Start for Alliance. Sashi being back to find him in the end, or up and taken right back out. That light individual with the high HP players still playing. You've still got 2 low HP players on the Sashi side as well with Zyphon and Becky. So much damage output from Alliance from beyond these smokes, and the kills more directively. Advantage set in, bomb site taken. Sashi want to save their Kevlar, want to save their pistols, want to hold on to their resources for what would otherwise be an Inca in the next. 2-0 start for Alliance.
Now, when Alliance took on Iberian Soul back in July at that Epitland event when Smooya was playing, we saw back-to-back train picks. So there's nothing that Smooya can use in-game experience about what he saw previously. Now, that definitely will be a factor moving into the decider of the third map, but Ancient's new territory for him. Sashi didn't have much in the force buy when it came to success, so they'll treat the next round as not much of an upgrade. Alliance should get themselves a comfortable third. It just depends on how many players potentially drop here in round 3.
All about the damage into the rifles for the next round for Sashi. Onto a slow start once again. Pass with that slow start converting into a non-map pretty much. Set the true pace of this second map with that rifle basis. We'll see what damage can be done. Mostly set to run the B bomb site for the Sashi setup because the Lions have hit B twice in a row. Now they adjust towards mid to ensure that there is no damage stacks and there's damage against them. In fact, Smooya gets tagged and naded right in between the fires. Easy kill for him.
Very patient for Alliance. A lot of time left on the clock. Scaling slowly, using util, picking players apart. And they're giving the limited upgrades almost nothing to be happy about. Twist can cut rotations as he hears them down from ramp. This MP9 might get traded. And now he's hearing them go out towards spawn. So it's all the info in the world.
All 3 sets of footsteps will telegraph it pretty nicely. They'll just check out the corners over on the A main and A bomb sites just in case. You can see Era adjusting from mid to look on towards elbow and also the main entrance. Era does get 1 kill before he goes down. Now Twist can strike with that SMG. Zyphon's still left out there. 1v4 and his Deagle does land Avin. That's a decent shot. Everyone else will be difficult though.
Sashi are in a position from Zyphon where map number 1 was a good performance from him, but I was kind of mentioning how it wasn't a carry. Now, when you go into Ancient, which is a far superior map to the opposition, I almost get the vibe that if Zyphon doesn't life game, if he doesn't have a really good performance, I just don't think it's possible to win. And that might even happen on Train as well. I just don't think Sashi have it in the depth to rely on the team overall. I mean, you're communicating in English. We always know that the Danes, especially Sashi, so system-based, all about timings. It's difficult to incorporate that when you don't even have Lucky as your AWP. You're almost mixing it, aren't you? You're pugging this LAN. It's a very different style than what you're used to doing online.
We mentioned Poi being within the top 3, and it's Zyphon in the top 2 players of this tournament. So quite a look in his direction to deliver those performances. Alliance careful around the rifle position. Took a fair amount more damage than they were bargaining for with that Deagle. Leaving 3 players on hundreds or $0 after the buy. So Alliance need to be careful about how much they lose. They preferably take a confident before play passive and around the defaults beyond the wood walls and the like, with no major aggression coming in from Sashi to challenge that.
Alliance have a nade stack out there, and Becky There's not much that he's going to be able to do for this point onwards. Triple boost for the NWP. They hope to try and catch Becky out here from long. They might just catch him from short. Hira knows exactly where he is, but not in a position to strike just yet.
Mistar could get caught. I think so. Nope, Mistar still gets found. Opening frag secured by Era. Flashbang sent. Becky's in trouble. 15 HP for the man. Backup second team players are going to have to provide some support. Becky does get one out of it, surprisingly, but Abbott puts him down and Uppy to extend the advantage. Smoothie and Cammy in 4 versus 2. Smoothie's already running. It's round over.
Yeah, funny enough, going all the way back, Jay, to one of the UKIC lands, might have even been the first season, the neighbours were playing, which was basically Dobbo, Bevy, Thomas, those kind of guys. Smoothie was playing quite a bit in the regular season. Got to the LAN finals and Smoothie couldn't go. Ira took his place and ended up going all the way out to England to win the LAN itself. So they didn't quite get to play together, but now they're getting to play against one another. And I think from the Swedes, looking at the creativity, the HEs out there towards long, the triple boost that you probably see, what, once a month? I mean, it's so uncommon on T-side of Ancient, and they're looking comfortable. This is an excellent beginning.
Terrorists win.
Indeed. What I was talking about earlier with the map confidence from Alliance. Usually you'd look at a first map of 13-6 and say, okay, that wasn't very good. Maybe Alliance might have some concerns going into the rest of the series, but they're fine. They got exactly what they wanted out of that previous round as well. 4 players alive, the economy to rebuild, the reinvestment's minimal. They're facing a half by the next round. Admittedly, Deagle in the hands of Zyphon, we saw what he could do with it. 2 rifles saved on Cabby, Smoothie being the heavy hitters expected in this one. Smoothie posted over towards the A-bomb site. Cabby taking central site of the B play. The big green gun of the CT side. May face the oncoming onslaught of Alliance. All 5 players are outside of the A-bomb site, setting into execution. Flashbangs catches Smoothie completely blinded. All about behind the box, but he gets checked kind of. He misses that shot first and foremost. Zyphon instead looking at people back to still turn towards the man, stabilizing his headshot onto Uppy. But Avid is fast to trade it, so 3 on 3. Something impressive defensive points by that pistol player. One plant will be secured for Cabby, Becky, and Mistar on the retake.
Avid is just evading all of these spam bullets from both CT and Donut, and they're just blocking with Util. Another smoke down to Donut, another one to CT. The round is finished. Tough there from Smoothie when you're being rushed, but 1 kill, it would have made all the difference, because Zyphon does so much out there from the back of default.
HP if that's Twist, however, have to be careful about the straight bullets because now they could get deadly and Mistar domes him in the head. Twist now needs to be careful. Headshot taken against the first man. Smoke onto the bomb. The fuse may get held. No, Becky and Cabby go for those kills quickly. I don't think they've got a kit though. They ain't got time. No, they'll back up with a double ops. Save them into the next because the Lions have a 5th round.
It's a good eco overall. It was never going to be winnable. When you don't have a kit and you're slow playing it from both CT and Donut, you know that they're just playing for exits. They're going to try and make the round expensive, and they've done exactly that. They hold on to double AWPs. It's a little bit of an issue, though, I think, for Sashi, because who is going to double AWP? I mean, no one's really good with the big green out on Sashi. No one's been a hybrid player in the past. Of course, in this round, you're going to use it. Now, Cabby's typically the cave player or the B anchor, so he might try and position that out to be somewhere.
Swing opportunity for Sashi now. Down with Trevor. First blood, and that double ops. Avid trying to wrap the corner here at Cheetah, but can't spray around Mistar. Becky takes him alongside Cabby's AWP, hitting multiple shots in mid now. A triple secured in the round. And there's the confidence back for Sashi, their opening round of the CT side.
Just a bit unique and unorthodox. Very rarely see an AWP in Red Room. If an AWP is going to be anywhere, it's normally Donut or A. Even on B, it isn't seen that frequently. But because they've got the double, you've got Smoothie on the off angle holding ramp, and then Cabby holding Red Room, just tunneling them in. Hero's hoping to try and catch a couple of players on the exits. He's at least dealt with the AWP. He's trying to turn as many of these util flashes as possible. But Sashi get away with their first and start upgrading as many AKs as possible. And I'm glad that they've not gone out towards Red Room to pick up that second AWP. You want to try and get rid of that as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Cabby's found his impact with the weapon, so credit to him. 2 AKs more valuable to the CT side, I'd say. Smooth's AWP impactful over the course of the first map up, not so much in the second yet. Still early doors, roughly. Only 6 rounds to play. The Alliance 5-1 up. Smooth only 1 kill found. And a force buy inbound from the Alliance. Going to get 3 AKs for their trouble. Mac 10 at the same time, quickly in towards the trying to blind fire from beyond the wood wall. None of it connects. Avid and Poi move on towards the cheater engine, smoked off right there. Might have to stall this out, apply the brakes for Alliance.
Well, I'm expecting a nade stack again. You've got 2 here for Uppy and Era. That might just go towards long and then they will send it. Uppy here with the long molly. They need to put pressure onto Mistar, make it uncomfortable for the long player.
Against him. He's a spray, awkward stance, and that Tech 9 diving in, diving out. Secondary player comes up with support though, and Becky will take down Era. Flash sent. Burst fire. Oh, they line up for Uppy though. Awkward positioning for Mistar and Becky. And the advantage goes the way of Alliance. Bomb plant secured. Is there an extra rifle they can recover? Not on the bomb site. Smooth will protect the 2 that were dropped. 4v3. Sashi need to set a retake.
Yeah, that awkward long smoke has benefited the T's massively with the lineup. And on the post plant, no one's over peaking. This is really disciplined from Alliance.
Two players swinging the back 10, gets a kill for Avid, but Cabby gets both those trades. We're back to a 2v2. Rifle upgrades now. AK in Cabby's hands, Orb still set for Smuria. He's exposed, swing out, kills found, Cabby goes down, Smuria, shot missed, and Uppy will take both of them. That's a quadra in the round for that man in Alliance. Minimum 6 on T side. What a steal.
Well, we're noticing in their post plants, they're not giving much away in over peaking. And that is always going to make it difficult on the retakes because you're running out of time, aren't you? I mean, even when it gets to the 2v2, yes, ramp and cave is smoked off, which looks really good from a CT point of view because you've blocked 2 areas and you can focus up on the bomb side. They're still not trying to take the fight straight away. You've got Uppy playing cautiously around default. Your next player in from cave also playing time. Alliance are playing by the book Counter-Strike.
Sashi suffering for it. 1-to-1 trade in mid. Cabby. Poi got siphoned first. Uppy takes that advantage, but it is not ready for Smuria. Man advantage remains at even. Alliance, heavy casualties, sustained damage. More prevalent against the CT side, though. Mistar at 54, Smuria on 74.
Era shouldn't have been able to retake mid, so he can molly out here to the mid cubby and just hold. He doesn't need to excel anywhere because he doesn't have any teammate support. Both of the other teammates are sitting outside of the B doors. So there should be a ramp contact, if anything, from Alliance. And for the CTs, there's a lack of info. They've rotated Smuria out to A for him to search. You've got a resmoke going down to ramp, but there's still a minute on the clock. There's still so much time for Alliance to deal with.
.45 seconds remaining. One man from that cheater entrance. Mistar still takes that dry fight and wins it against Twist. Half HP in that regard, and he's still down at 17. Avid now starts his walk up. Mistar steps hard. Kill found. Adjustments right there. And Avid set of kills for now, leaving Smuria alone. 1-on-2. Alliance, even from the back foot, find a way to surge ahead. The Opera of Era coming in from long. Gonna have to challenge Smuria directly, I'd assume. The M4 checking out short. Doesn't get caught just yet. He might have just slipped out of the grasp of the T side. Gets on the floor, smokes with him. Making a lot of noise though. Finally back straight towards the bomb, but he's caught by Era. Unawares of exact positioning. May have given away a bit too much info there. Regardless, Alliance have the half 7-1. Sashi unable to convert upon their initial stances here. Maxos bonus in effect. Money will be there for a buy, but a timeout called in by Hunden to try and give them some sort of new breath of life, to find some sort of answer to what Alliance are bringing to the table.
Well, Alliance were struggling with the calling in the first half of Overpass. You come to the first half of Ancient and it's completely different. Take that round, okay? They've got a search going on in Cave. Now, you don't know 100% that they're double Cave because that info wasn't given. But in a mid-round, the likelihood of one player searching Cave solo, it's quite it doesn't make sense. So they recognize it's probably double cave. Let's exploit by taking ramp contact and being ready for the cave pick. I mean, Avid is in such a good position, isn't he? Because he's in an off angle. He's hugging the wall, but he's also towards the wood cubby. So as soon as they swing out, yes, it's a good spray transfer, but he's already beaten them to the punch. Alliance, they're on the money here on the T side.
Indeed they are. In the lead by 6 rounds. To round 9, they've lost a lot of map control. I haven't gained the pick for it. It's actually trying to change their pace, trying to change the circumstances that they're in. Actually, as Avin almost got caught by his shoulder raise, will eventually lead towards the dink on the TP basis. So HP advantage now favourable. Era's waiting for a crack angle to take. Get smoke down to the B doors. Lock both players off.
And I think most people would always say you want to, as a T-side on Ancient, take lane and minimize map control. Alliance have done the opposite. Look at how many times they've been retaking space. Elbow, B-doors. They've been so happy to allow the CTs to hold, and then they bring it back with util and they bring it back with numbers. For the CT basis, you've got everything right now. You've got all of bottom mid, you've got bottom ramp, you've got cave. There's not a huge amount of time left on the clock, but there's still decent util, and yeah, players are low, 12 here from Avid, 9 from Poi. All it's going to take is now a little bit of a distraction. 2 players out in elbow, 2 players out towards B doors, and a lurk in A. That A is going to be the distraction.
Twist trying to make his way out of that bomb side, draw the attention away. Rotations have been called in. Mistar catching uppy. Becky playing against that distraction. Finds Era next up. 20 seconds. Bombs low HP on the AWP. Baited out. Mistar strikes on point. Now down 2 men separated from each other. The Sashi almost lose Becky in that Molotov, but either way, it's a 5-on-2. So Avid and Twist don't have time to make it into the bomb site. They'll back away and save their weapons. The Sashi will post up their second round. A little bit of an adjustment there. Alliance took too long to maintain something, and Sashi held their nerve this time.
When you're taking space back with low time on the clock, you've got to be on it to get the kill straight away. And when you come up from shelf and you lose a pick, and then you lose your player out in the B doors, the round's finished from that point. You needed to be clean with the openers. It didn't quite happen. Alliance take their tactical. Now we saw Sashi taking one, instantly responding with a round victory. Hawk is now going to come in here, and Alliance, well, they've got to look at the score, look at the position they're in, and say, lads, if we can get 8-4 at the turn, that would be a really good position to get us into the second half.
It's actually going for 5-7. Alliance going for 10-2. Best case scenarios for both sides, and again you have this reset chance for the Sashi side. Not the first time they've had it in this half, but it would be the first time if they can claim it to have actually converted upon that. Damage, staunch. Rounds have been close, and Alliance have been pushed down to those. As a result, Tech money for Avid. WP back in for Era and Twist on the AK. To the lane position. Sashi not allowed to go quite as aggressive this time. Smokes over at Cheetah in particular. And access also smoked off by the red room angle, leaving only Era's hoping for a face out long, and he was right to assume so. The flashbang comes in to give the Sashi side space, and Alliance forced back.
Good info from Smooya. He's not revealed that the AWP is out on B, and they know that the AWP was boosted up on the big box. There is no lurk towards elbow or A main in this time. This is a lot more of a heavier pack setup than what we've seen previously. And the CTs are retreating quite heavily. They can play double for long, one for short. Era can just post with the AWP in cave, and then his riflers can walk up and get closer to B.
Smokes on a ramp.
Triple boost again.
Access. After you arrive at that triple boost, the AWP is ready for it this time. Becky cuts it down. Fool me once. Shame on you, fool me twice, not going to happen. Alliance down a man now.
Smooya holding off on the shell rotation, not seeing the red player. Difficult shot on the lip, and this is where Poi really needs to strike with impact, help out the B players.
Our teams have to move on and take the contact. Cabby gets that kill together. I think in the solo lurk out that they start the second. time here, Alliance. The Galil comes in from Point, finally strikes one back, sees one of the gap in the box. Secondary and tertiary players closer than that, though. Cabby takes a dink, but also takes the kill. And the distraction, the bomb can go down. The Orb can't hit the shots back from Avid. It leaves it all on Twist now. A 1v4. Bomb planted back of the pillar at default. Typhon closing in. Sashi starting the set for the retake. Up low HP, kills isolated, but now Zyphon comes in the strike against that flank. And that is an all-important one for Sashi to take a third of their board, a reset against Alliance.
Just a little bit too telegraphed that they're going for the triple boost. So they've already revealed the card that they've used it already, so it's going to be in the back of the Danes' mind. But there's a lot of time dwindling, and there's not much impact anywhere. They haven't taken all of Cave. They're not really contacting out from B. So if you're Sashi, you're thinking, well, they're setting up something, aren't they? And well, what have we seen previously? Okay, let's at least be ready for it. As soon as that AWP goes up there, not only is it a kill for Becky, but it's a tell that they have to end B, don't they? There's no way they're going to go anywhere else. That was a good, strong round from Sashi. Well done.
Pistols for Alliance will get towards the buy in the last round, so they're going for an 8-4. Warper Snooya seeing the first contact. Tech9's close, doesn't to try and swing, done damage on towards Twist. 4 HP for the man. The Eagles are range, Tech9's close. Flashing at Smooya, but he still lands that kill while running out. He can take one back. Zyphon and Smooya need to deal with his players up in mid. And he's flexed by Alliance have been effectively neutralised. 35 HP for the last two remaining players.
Avid's trying his absolute best, and so is the Deagle, but not to happen. Smooya in a tough spot, because when you're there, if you don't have a molly, you can't really fight against him. You might be able to flash him off the angle and bait him, but if you can't draw him in the open, there's no way you're going to be able to get that 1-for-1. Sashi have just given themselves a little bit of a push there towards the tail end, and it looks like Patty is even watching on for some of the boys there. Used to play with some of these guys, now part of the Whopper organisation. Just supporting the Danes on to see if they can get the upset today in this best of 3.
A bit of revenge for their countrymen at Sashi's part. The Lions leading the charge, though. Sashi have a lot of work to do. They can still make it a very good 5th to close out the CT side. Flash is sent in, shot from Smooya landing up into the face. See some shadows coming out. The Avid swings below that crosshair, and Poi can combine with Avid to get 2 of those kills against both Smooya and Zyphon. Cabby can run forward that smoke. Hard by Poi, should seem not failing. Back angle to play for the wider game. Cabby can get that kill, but Poi will strike back. Mister 3 versus 2. Alliance favourable. Cabby and Becky both heavily tagged as well. It smokes down towards the bomb site. Molotov sent towards main. Oh, Cabby gets Poi whilst blinded by the smoke. 2v2 now. Swing forward. Isolate 1 and Twist taps the second man down. So it will be an 8th for Alliance to close their T-side half.
Just some schoolboy errors there from the Danes in round number 12. First off, Smooya is getting way too greedy. It's a great opening kill. Needs to fall back and retreat. He's double dipping into basically pure death. And then right at the tail end there, the smoke's not even on for the bomb. So when you tap it, you draw the fights out in the open. There's no element of surprise of, oh, do we need to spam this smoke? Is he actually on it? Is he not? You don't quite know. Sashi, I think, played okay. But to me, on both Ancient and a map like Train, playing okay is not going to be good enough to defeat a team like Alliance.
Second half, Pistols, live, strike down, uppy, USP for Poi, unable to hold on to anything. Sashi quickly into this pistol and quickly into this A-bomb site, wasting no time putting the bomb down. Alliance beaten by pace by the Danes.
Difficult retake because nothing's being offered straight away. Avid's out here in Temple, you've got a player in Red Room, another player coming from Shelf, and no one's over-peaking, no one's trolling this round from Sashi.
They're backing up. Save their Kevlar for a better forced buy. Because Sashi will have 5. Good kills from Twist on the exits. It doesn't make a difference to the round, though. All important one for the Danes.
Terrorists win.
pistol of the second half and try and springboard that into greater success. And look, probably the best they have looked in this map by doing so. It's a very proficient pistol win, a very fast execution that Alliances were not ready for.
You can see Hunden behind them, not only a coach, a part of the organization for a long period of time, but nearly 300 maps played on LAN. A guy that had a very long career in Tier 2, a lot of BYOCs, a lot of local Nautic lands that he's been to. So this is not a new experience for him. Hoy, fast, out from Red Room, fast and aggressive towards A, and this is being heard by the Donut individual of Era.
Now out, he's hit the headshots with it. The Deagle of Hoy is good to return onto Cali. Advantage for Alliance here. The weakened weapons, however, might still put them to paid. Sashi have entered into the A bomb site, suppressed by smokes, can't quite get to the bomb plant positions. That's currently no man. Should look to get secured. Dean Zyphon puts that down. Retake on now for Alliance.
Very early re-smoke towards A main from the CTs. Becky needs to stall. He needs to get damage out here in Temple, and he's got himself a slight bait and switch between him and Mistar.
Flashes forward, Becky in the corner, holds onto one. 5-7 back for Uppy. No, Mistar will break back onto that man again. 3-on-2, escaping from range of Twist. Needs that pistol support. He does manage to get Zyphon in the end. The Eagle close, one man low. Mistar provides that extra. And Twist is going to back away once again. 1v2, so close for Alliance, but not quite enough in the tank. Sashi will take their 6th. And close that gap in Alliance even more so than now. The force buy leads to no true investment for the next round either. It's the eco and half-bought pistols for the next.
It's disappointing for Alliance because that round had everything going for it. Not only did they get an opening kill, but they packed quite heavily towards Temple with a flashbang. They just couldn't quite get the trades in order. Becky's doing some decent damage with the Galil. Mistar's also staying alive towards Brokey for a long time. And the round difference is now just 2. And the Swedes will have a lot of backing in the second half. They'll have rounds to play with. Once Era gets out onto the big green and once the rifles are in, they'll show their comfortability. But right now, Sashi probably see the vision of a 2-0. They can feel that it's possible.
First strike down from the Sashi side, again opening things up with Twist. Only pistols remain for Alliance. Sashi can taste the even scoreline. T-side is coming together for the Danes. Take this B-bomb side with ease. No one from Alliance is here to defend it. Might send these pistols back at them, see what damage can be done. A Hail Mary type of retake.
Bomb has been planted.
Still pretty expensive round of the previous for Sashi, so damage could still be happening for Alliance here. As Cabby takes that 10 though, it becomes a little bit less than likely. Avi can take one of those frags. With 21 HP to get some more.
Yeah, Era's not even being challenged out towards Donut. They were all looking for exits, all being in positions where they might be able to get one, try and save one of these AKs. But if the direction for the T's on the hunt isn't quite going your area, then you're not going to get much out of it. Sashi get themselves up to 7. And I think for Smuya, this is probably the perfect tournament to show that not only you can be competitive, but that you deserve an offer. I know that he had an interview recently at Philadelphia, I think it was with Dust2 US. He wants to play professionally. He's using Fish 123 to basically play some officials, keep the reps in there, work with some younger players, but he wants a call-up. And he's only really gotten call-ups this year from mixers and from stand-in situations. So maybe going into the Christmas break after the major, if we get a good individual performance from Smuya, if he maybe gets a good rep from the Sashi boys, then maybe there is an offer. Definitely not to this team, but just for his career in general.
Sub status gets you a little bit further. Alright, that's a public position for Ashley. It's been a proper active team in as official like organisation, I should say, in a very long time. Let's walk forward from Sashi into his hands. Alive. Caught back for it though. 2 for 1, 3 for 1 trades with the strikes back on the ace side. One man caught towards lane inside of that smoke. Alliance's aggression cut down by Sashi. Right now they're making a great case for themselves. Era can deny that bomb. Position not quite, but on the boxes is where the second one will come down. Era and Avid 2v3 and don't want to go for this retake. They're going to hold on to the exit frags again. It means that Sashi will equalize, and now you start to question whether a 2-0 really is available for the Danes.
But the timing was just so wild out there to lane. You've got Cabby walking through a smoke and Twist also walking through a smoke, and it's just pure chaos. As soon as that kill comes in, they accelerate A, and they run into the Mincer. Instant success from the T side. You're just getting entry after entry, creating more space, easy bomb plant. Era and Avid didn't even see players, and they're just instantly saving. Sashi make it 8 apiece. No hunt against the last couple of individuals means that there's another buy on the table. M4 can be dropped by Avid. Era can drop another one. Twist can even get an M4 himself. This is a very tight game now.
All squared up, and that only benefits Sashi right now.
And from 7-1 up to get a tied score, you feel if you are Alliance, you've let it slip slightly. I know that it came from losing pistol, losing anti-force by losing first gun round. There are reasons to why we've got to this score, but from 7-1, you're on top of the world. You think map's probably wrapped up. We're going towards train pretty quickly, and now you've got to lock in and say, all right, let's start delivering, because otherwise it might be too late.
Well, this rise to prominence came off the back, well, initially came off the back of a choke in the final map of another grand final back at the Elisa event. We talked about it a moment ago. Up 11-7 over the Ecstatic side, another Danish team before Ecstatic brought out all the way to map point and eventually into overtime when they took it over Alliance. And you have to start to wonder, is it happening again now? It's much earlier doors than that previous one. It's 8 apiece. You know, there is some buffer room and some time to still close out. But on your own map pick, being up by that massive margin, irrespective of the circumstances, it can't feel good to see that gap disappear.
And that's where players need to take responsibility. Guys like Era to perform in the second half, Poi to step up, and Twist as a caller to just stabilize. This is a team that I believe can fight for the title. It's a squad that I think will go on and perform very well post-quarterfinal. So they need to show it right here. They need to show it in the second half to send this game to the finale of Train.
Struggles massively with that spray, and Poi can combine and take him down. Low HP for both him and Uppy. Meanwhile, Cabby takes control of that flashbang, keeps both players blinded, and Cabby can adjust towards the head of Avid. Era suppressed by smoke, advantage regained on them. Change a moment there in mid. Nothing that seems to protect his half by. Might just get away with the AK and the M4, and that be it.
It's a crazy double coming in from Cabby. The first one's fairly clean, but he is full blinded against Avid, and it's a bit disappointing, I guess, for the Swede that you don't get that one-for-one trade, because that round was not on to be successful, but one that could have done a lot of damage and maybe even set up a retake. Zyphon sends it out elbow, and he's just so blinded, isn't he? There's so many counter flashes from the CTs. Sashi get the lead, but Alliance, all things considered, while they could have got more in the round, they still hold on to 2 saves, don't they? They still hold on to the AK and the M4, and when your economy is okay, could be better, that's when you want saves like this, because it just doesn't disrupt the funds as much as it would have done if you go in and you end up losing players.
Cash well built on the T-side line. Alliance on their rebuy now need to get one. If they can't get this round, it's where you start to approach panic stations. Tournament front runners remaining here. Alliance looked at, at the very least, the top 4 contender. You saying earlier that they could well be a tournament winner. It's entirely possible, but not with the way things stand. Down on the scoreline, already lost a map in the series. Sashi showing 2-0. RP struggling on the A defense outside of Donut as well. Cabby takes him down. Awkward sprays, characteristic of Alliance right now. Second kill from Smooya comes in on Poi elsewhere. It's a 5-on-3. Sashi in full control, fully in the driver's seat, foot to the floor, and charging their way to 10.
It's been a very poor game individually from Uppy. At map number 1, 5 kills and 14 deaths. Map 2 still on single digits, going deep into the second half now. And as the A-side anchor, you've got to be delivering with at least 1 kill there. The timing was slightly weird because the T's had got out pretty far, hadn't they? They'd already got towards Big Box before there was any kind of contact towards Donut. But even still, need to be developing, need to be at least putting 1 down. And Zyphon might make this round even more expensive. Twist is close, Hero's out on the entrance. More CTs are dropping. This is an excellent hunt from the T's. What a round. Whoa. There we go. That's Sashi really starting to drive in the victory home now.
Excellence from Zyphon. Cabby nicked the last, but even so, they are locked in. Eyes on the prize. The quarterfinal win standing, hanging in the balance for the Danish squad. They are so close to claiming it. That was a must-win round for Alliance and all. The economy states can count down against them. Those lacking in those funds. Still going to get a buy together, but you can see the SMG and added and upping. This is a desperation kind of buy. Poi finally gets an opening frag. Cabby goes down. Advantage for Alliance, and they do not stick around to concede a trade back. They want to maintain.
You just saw Hunden chatting to the boys, making sure that they're on the right page for round 19. Whatever they had in mind has now completely disappeared because Poise made an overextension and not even been traded. Now, Smooya can scale with the AWP. He was doing a lot of this on the T side of Overpass, where rather than being in with the pack, they're just leaving him alone, leaving him to just contact, keep walking out, see what he can find. He is, without even a teammate in sight, everybody else is grouped out towards B-Ram.
What distraction can the lurking AWP pull? 2 players in a donut. 2 men over a red. So the take right now could still look strong for Sashi. And Twist to be there to defend it. Smooth's going for a big old flank. I think I haven't seen his shadow. He's seen his man now. That calls even further attention away, but it's all a ruse, and they're about to find that out the hard way here, Alliance. 30 seconds, the T-Star walking through the smoke over on the B-bomb side. Smooya still concerning himself with getting some kills back. Shot missed out. Misstar's taking Twist, and Smooya's got one on the way out. Finally, Poi will pick him up, and they realise the mistakes they've made. They've realised the distraction that Sashi has pulled, the distraction that Smooya has pulled. 3 on 3 now. And they lost one of the M4s in that exchange. Zyphon set as first port of call to the defensive line. The AWP is boosted, but he doesn't see his man. Alliance taking their time with it, and they've re-smoked as well. They're going to back off to save their guns once again as Sashi continue charging ahead. 11 on this T side. A T side streak that stretched for 7 whole rounds. Alliance yet to score 1 on CT side.
And it's a lovely call to not send the over-rotation from the T perspective. Now, look at it from Smooya's POV, okay? He's walked out of A main, he's got to Big Box, he's got into Brokey and into Temple, and there's been no contact. In his mind, he might be thinking the A defense is really light. Should we maybe send a rotation, get guys coming from Shelf into Donut? No, that's the wrong read. He then takes contact against the CT player. All Smooya needs to do is waste time. And for him just to get 1 kill, that was the round done already. When you've got all of long and you re-smoke CT, you have to insta-save. You just can't go into that one at all. Smooya drove so much time away from B, but also so many players out of position. What a round from the British AWPer.
Alliance are bottling it. Their own map pick looks so confident at the start of things, and now maybe their choking issues haven't been returned by the roster changes they've made. Era does stripe on Smooya to, at the very least, kick things off in this round. But the last round had an opening man advantage, and they still didn't convert it. Poi exposed in mid, no support around him. Trade comes quick for Sashi.
And now they might try and pressure Red Room. They've smoked off Donut. They've double put the red in with the incendiary, and now the CTs want to try and search elsewhere. Mistar's going to get good timing against Avid. He sees 2 players pressurizing the Ram.
Causes the Katie plays shot missing, puts Avid close. 1 pick down, second pick isolated. Big moment from the man, but he doesn't hold it forever. Trey is good for Zyphon 2v2. Both CT players are at 100 HP each. Both T-Star members are tagged. Swing from Era without support, and he gets caught by aim. Punch loses his life. Desperation. And tilt from Alliance, leaving Uppy now alone on the clutch. A 1v2, he absolutely needs to win. Smoke with him and a kit available, but they are hunkered down directly on the bomb itself. Check around all report, of course. Fight goes too high on the spray, and Sashi are all the way back. A streak for the ages as they get to map match and quarter final point.
And that's an opening 5v4 right there from Alliance. You've set that round up perfectly. Instead, individually, you're just starting to slowly lose jewels. It comes from elbow. It comes out there towards cave. The AWP is in the hands of Twist for some reason, and he's just struggling to work with Avid out on B. Alliance had everything going for them at the start of this map, but it has dwindled away quickly. This has been a dominating performance from Sashi.
What a game. Special Nation, we had it pretty pinned that Alliance should back their way into the back end of the veto process for the second and third maps in this series. Both Ancient and Train, great maps for them, but Sashi decided to come up with something special to play today. 10 times played in the last 3 months versus the 22 of Alliance should have indicated the Swedish dominance. Instead, they've left gaps in the fence like the one that Zyphon's just walked into. He's already on the A bomb site, backstabbing on towards the one player of Era set towards A main. Smoothie is ready for Twist over at Tetris. Here dropping down in mid, takes that shot, makes it 3. Alliance slipping out of Journey. A retake that needs to come through for them with 2 for Master and M4. Poi's been heard. Lurk is still getting caught off by Mister. He's still stalling elements out of Alliance here. Should be able to get this kill onto Uppy, leaving Avid and Poi with an impossible task ahead of them. Uppy takes that fight. Mister wins it now that a retake. Poi's caught. Becky takes him. Avid alone. 1v4. 1 kill found. No more than that. He's out of ammo. And the T's are just holding it back. Smoke on to the bomb. Trying to go for the Hail Mary defuse. Kits in 2 HP. Trying to take fights. Back on towards it. The Tech 9 takes. And Sashi have returned from a 1-7 deficit to a 13-8 win and a 2-0, eliminating Alliance from Journey.
And we have seen now in back-to-back best-of-3s on the mainstream that the Swedish teams have let themselves down in the best-of-3 in important games. Look at Johnny Speeds last night. I think they had a pretty good group stage. They got pumped by ENG. It wasn't a competitive game at all. And then you come out here against Sashi, who I would have certainly pinned the Danes to beat BC Game yesterday. There's no way I'm pinning Sashi to beat Alliance here, especially in a 2-0 fashion. Overpass was clean, and maybe I can look at that from the Danes and say, look, it was a different map pick than what we're used to. I can give that as a pass. I can give that as an exception. I cannot excuse the performance that we've seen from Alliance in this second half. Sashi have outclassed them completely and are now trying to go on a run with Smooya standing in.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement with you there. Overpasses, okay, fine. You had a bit of an awkward start. It was your opponent's map pick. You had 6 rounds to the lead. Before even the first half had even come to discussing a close, we were looking at that whole advantage saying, man, they're looking sharp, they're looking good. And the 8-4 half that they should have converted upon didn't get a single round on CT side. How do you do that on Ancient? I don't understand it at all. It's a massive letdown, and you can see it on their faces. They do not look impressed. They do not look happy with the way things have gone. And that's the second time this year that they've had a massive blowout, lose out to a team on a Danish team rather, in a situation where they should have been the favourites. They should have been looked at as the experienced side that had their nerve. That's not the case here today for the Alliance camp, down out in the quarterfinals, when, as you said, Blake, they probably should have made a grand final argument.
Yeah, and it's disappointing from the perspective of Twist as a caller, because you've now been eliminated in back-to-back tournaments against a stand-in of Smooya. And it's like, man, he's playing with Spanish lads and now he's playing with Danes, and yet we still can't beat him. And it's not that Smooya had a crazy game, but it's that team, Iberian Soul and the likes of now Sashi, they're not at full strength when they've got a stand-in. They're not the best of teams that they can be, and you've lost to them both times, which they weren't really competitive games. So, underwhelming performance from the Swedes. Alliance will be very disappointed with going out this early.
I mean, look, maybe we were onto something a little bit earlier. Maybe Smooya really is the key for Alliance. Maybe he is their thorn in their side, because with that elimination, they will be out of the competition. And for the most part, our semi-finals are almost already decided, Blake. We got 2-0 from BetBoom as they took down Metasport a little bit earlier on, so they'll be taking on Sashi in the semi-finals. Eyeballers also 2-0'd ENG out of the competition. It went down 13-9 on the second map of that series. AM are about to 2-0 ascend as well, so that's going to seem to be what our semi-final matchup is, like 11-12 on that match. So so Ascend have a chance to send it to overtime on map number 2. But right now, the grand finals, or semi-finals rather, they're looking like they're pretty nicely set up here.
And there's no surprise that BetBoom get the win against Metasport. You might say that there's a surprise against the likes of ENG for Eyeballers, but I put a tweet out at the start of the day. I thought Eyeballers were going to win that game. I think the Swedes are a much more stable team, and I think we spoke about it on the show yesterday. It released. I did. If ENG don't get a top 4, roster changes need to be done. So I would say Naitu is on the chopping block as the anchor. I would say Rigon is on the chopping block. I don't think SDY, Poddy, or the likes of Miltsy will get kicked. I think they're quite safe as that core 3. But come on, bro, not even taking a map against Eyeballers. Yeah, that's an embarrassing showing. That's a really poor sign for the internationals.
And we've just seen on the screen right there the update from the AM Gaming Ascend. In the last few moments, AM do 2-0 Ascend, 13-11. A very good run for the Bulgarian side on that group stage. Impressive stuff, but the best of 3s not quite able to mount up to it. I mean, a hell of a task, to be fair. I mean, nearly to overtime in that second map up. The first one, 13-9, came down towards the AM side. So that's how our semi-finals do look like. BetBoom versus Sashi and AM versus Eyeballers. The BetBoom-Sashi matchup actually might be rather intriguing in my eyes. I certainly would have said that if it was BetBoom versus Alliance there, but the fact that Sashi beat Alliance means that right now they're taking out one of those tournament frontrunners.
Yeah, I'd look at it from the other side of the bracket though and think, look, for Eyeballers, it's a dream run. I mean, you've just beaten ENG, and now you've got AM Gaming. Now, no disrespect to Keto and Co. They've had a good tournament, but Eyeballers are going to go into that series with mass confidence. They're going to look at that one and say, that's a really easy semi-final draw. Now, you definitely have to never underestimate your opponents, because I think maybe that's what's happened in some previous games for them to get a top 4. But AM Gaming, I didn't even think they were going to get top 3 in the group. So for Eyeballers, this might be their tournament to win now. This might be 2 confident back-to-back best of 3s to get yourself in that title fight, but there's no denying that BetBoom are the last remaining, what I would say, strong team in the comp. I think that this is their tournament where everyone will look at them as the favourites, but just because you're a favourite doesn't mean that you're going to win the title.
Well, let's put it this way for Eyeballers. One of our front runners was ENG in the top 4 in my eyes, and so the fact that they've gone out in top 8 means that, well, that's a pretty positive sign for the Eyeballers side. But BetBoom and Sashi, they will be our next matchup on stream at 1 PM CET, where the semi-finals will be taking place. And of course, we'll take a nice big break for the grand finals a little bit later on tonight as well. For BetBoom, it is a lot of confidence out of them. Can Sashi pull off another upset is the next big question on their mind. We'll find out in about an hour's time when we return with Red Bull Giveaway Journey.